going to break here to recognize one very special award, the 2015 San Diego Area Journalist of the Year. After the owners of San Onofre Nuclear Generating Station decided to close down, a series of stories in the Union-Tribune have revealed the secret dealings of government agencies and the utilities involved in the shutdown. Because of his work on this story, Jeff McDonald is being honored by the SPJ as Journalist of the Year. To introduce him, please welcome Ricky Young, Watchdog team editor.
Hi, I'm Ricky Young with your UTTV Watchdog Minute. I'm sorry, that's the wrong script. I guess we don't do those anymore. I'm here to introduce Jeff McDonald, the winner of tonight's Journalist of the Year award. This is a particularly difficult task. Not because of the breadth and volume and scope of Jeff's impressive body of work, which has had such an impact in our community. Not because of the critical importance of investigative journalism in uncertain times for our industry. No, this task is especially difficult because Ken Stone already said everything in an exhaustive post at the Times of San Diego, which scooped us on the news of our own Reporters Award. Thanks, Ken. I saw you over there just a minute. You can find that post, by the way, by Googling Ken Stone, Jeff McDonald, and San Onofre Shockers. I think that's the softball team they play on together. No, maybe that hardball. So Ken talked to a number of people for his story, but one group of people he didn't quote was the readers, which left me a little elbow room for tonight. I have access to some. I have access to some reader emails, and I wanted to share some of them with you. Some things they've had to say to Jeff over the months and years I've worked with him. Your thinking is clear-headed, and your putting it into writing is very effective. Okay? Keep up the good work, which will hopefully lead to a complete overhaul of the PUC. Here's one of my favorites. I really do not want to become a crank in my old age, but if you and your colleagues weren't delving into all of this, the public just wouldn't know, and the bad behavior would continue indefinitely. Thank you and your superiors for paying you to do this work. And finally, keep digging on behalf of ordinary San Diegans. We appreciate you. Well, so do I. When Jeff and I were first thrown together as editor and reporter, I sent him an email with a request for him to do something or other. He agreed to do so, as he always does. But Jeff's response came back with a little McDonald-esque question. Do you ever say please? To me, that's what Jeff McDonald does for San Diego. In a respectful way, he says to authority what needs to be said and asks the questions that need to be asked. And he expects people to do the right thing. And so let me say, please join me in congratulating Jeff McDonald, San Diego's Journalist of the Year.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Vicki, for those kind words. I want to start by thanking the Society for this terrific honor. It's made even more special because it's voted out by my peers in the business, and we get so much guff from the community doing the work we do that it's nice to be rewarded, especially by my colleagues. So thank you. I also want to thank Ricky Young because he has guided our coverage of the CPUC, which has been so badly lacking in oversight of our friends in Southern California, that is here in the SDG and San Onofre. without his guidance and encouragement and critical saves and mistakes I've inserted into stories. There's like 5 guys in this paper named Michael, and once in a while I get them mixed up. So he's helped me with that. So thank you, Ricky. I also want to credit Morgan Lee, who's our energy reporter, who's an incredible professional. He first reported the San Onofre news and has broken many important stories on this issue as well. So I just wanted to thank him and acknowledge him. And lastly, of course, I want to thank my wife, Maureen McGee, who not only is my personal hero, she's a 3-time national award-winning education writer for the Union-Tribune, and her unwavering support, she always reminds me what counts and keeps that important for me. So I thought a little bit about what to say tonight because I read on the program that I was supposed to give a keynote address. Matt Hall kept saying, don't worry about it, it's just a speech, nobody's going to remember it. But every time I saw a program or a description, it was McDonald was giving a keynote address. So I'm a little bit daunted by that assignment. So I thought about what to say, and I don't really want to preach or give advice. We're all grown-ups and professionals. We do this for a living, many of us. And for the students, keep going. It's a fantastic career. So I thought I would start by just saying what led me into journalism, because I think that's something we all have in common, and it's a great icebreaker. So, and I won't be long. I always like to write, so I was gifted with an ability to string a sentence or two together. And I always read the newspaper, and for some reason I always listened to news radio in the car. I don't know why, but those things mesh together along with my pesky personality and asking questions. So I think newspapers was a natural fit for me. By high school, I started to feel a little cocky, and I thought it might be fun to get paid to try and write. So I actually went to high school in San Diego County and walked into the offices of Valley Roadrunner back in the 70s, and I had a call on an upcoming NFL season that I thought might be interested in the Valley Roadrunner and publishing my thoughts on who might win in the upcoming football season. The editor was kind enough, it didn't have a meeting. I just walked in, and he sat me down, and he looked at the column. He didn't read it, but he sized me up in about a minute. And you might know him, some of you old-timers, Dan Quackenbush, a fantastic guy, and my hat's off to him eternally. But he said, we don't really cover the NFL at the Valley Roadrunners, but maybe you'd like to cover popular football. And I thought about that, and that seemed like a pretty good deal. So we made a handshake agreement that I would work for 15 cents a column each, and I just thought what a great way to get paid. And I only made $4 or $5 a week, but I learned to write long. Getting paid to write was something that was just unbelievable to me, that we could go to an event, ask questions, write up your thoughts about it, and people would pay for you to write it up. And of course I was seduced by that power, and that senior name in the paper didn't hurt. It wasn't until later that I really learned to appreciate the responsibility of the work that we do, because there is an immense responsibility in it. And it came home most in college. I was about to graduate with an English degree, and I didn't really want to teach, and I didn't know what else to do. And that summer, my roommate was the editor of the Sonoma State Star, and he convinced me to write for the college newspaper. And I thought that would be fun. So I went and met with the advisor, the late Dr. Carl Jensen. And I bring him up because he passed away a 3 months ago. And he's the guy, and I know we all have a teacher in our life who made a huge impact and inspired us and gave us purpose and the belief that we could accomplish great things. So I went and met Carl, and again, I had no appointment. I crashed his office and never looked at his watch. And by the end of the half hour or 40 minutes, I was changing my major. I was going to start taking journalism classes again, which I hadn't done since high school. And I just was reborn again doing journalism. Carl passed away, as I said, this spring. The reason he's on my mind is his memorial was just this weekend. And I was in a position to travel back up to Sonoma State and attend his memorial. And he always preached, and it's always a great opportunity to catch up with old friends and sip a few beers with old college folks and pay my respects to the guy who, more than anyone else, is responsible for me accomplishing what little I have so far in this field. Speaking about the PUC, because we haven't reversed that deal yet. But anyway, Carl had a few lessons, and I thought, rather than my preaching or inspiring some words of wisdom, I would let Carl speak to you guys, since he was so impactful for me. He always said, be purer than Caesar's wife, because if you're going to do the kind of investigative work he always preached about, you had to hold yourself to the same account that you were asking of the government and industry officials and leaders that you were asking of them. So I thought that was pretty cool. He said, be fair but firm. Don't let people push you away from a story or talk you away from something you know needs to be told. He said, don't let subjects of your stories avoid the issues at hand. And we're all guilty of this sometimes, letting people talk and getting a quote from them, even if it's off point. And it's our job to bring them back to the subject matter at hand and get them to address a specific point, which more and more is more difficult than it seems, especially in 2015 as opposed to when I came up in the late 80s. Carl warned constantly about the influences that advertising and corporate media has on the work that we do as journalists. And I've seen that firsthand. I'm sure we all have, so we need to guard against that. He always preached about avoiding path journalism, which is much easier said than done, because we all have lives outside of work and obligations away from our desk jobs. He reminded me to swim against the mainstream and always do reframe a debate or a question whenever you felt it drifting away from what you considered to be the point at hand, and to ask the question that has not been yet answered. He led by example. When he was younger than I am today, he was an investigative journalist who got run out of Miami after writing too many stories about the mob in South Florida, and literally threatened him to have the light shot out of his house, and decided it was time to go. He ended up in academia at Sonoma State, where he created something called Project Censored, which I am a member of, and I encourage you guys to look at. It's celebrating its 40th year next year, and it's a nationally recognized media research project that examines all the underreported stories of the mainstream press each year. And the reason it matters is because so much media is concentrated by so few people. We need alternative press, and we need to constantly challenge our bosses, our shareholders, and our editors and publishers to register some stories that might ruffle feathers. And I'm betting that everybody in this room that works in media has had an experience that they're not proud of. I've tried to apply these lessons to myself in my career, and at the Union-Tribune and other media organizations. It's something I'm mostly successful at, but not always. But even when I'm not, I recognize that journalism is a terrific honor, and it's some of the most fun I've ever had in my professional life. So I encourage you all to keep up doing this important work. It's a very noble thing, and it's been nothing but gratifying for me. So that's it, and with that, I just want to thank everybody again. It's a terrific honor, and thank you.